Good morning, greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 33 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like acne, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle. But what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system, it is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we are here for you. We welcome your phone calls at 844-236-6010. We love hearing from you. If you have questions about anything we're speaking about here today, a health challenge you or a loved one is dealing with, the longevity products, longevity business, our Truth Skin Health products, which are all available at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. If you have a success story you'd like to share, 844-236-6010 is our number on The Bright Side, and we love hearing from you. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase longevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. All the longevity products can be had, as well as there's also a Join the Team link that you can click on at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. If you want to sign up to join the Brightside Ben team for a one-time $30 fee, you can be in business for yourself, earn thank you checks associated with changing people's lives. And I am not kidding you. You can change people's lives with a good nutritional supplement program with the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the Healthy Start Pack and the Sweeties and all the fine longevity products, which you'll find at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. Click on the Join the Team link and start a longevity business. Or you can call 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470 for more information. All right, got lots of lines open for you at 844-236-6010. We'll get your calls in the bottom of the hour, as we always do on The Bright Side. I have been reading a lot about this so-called opium epidemic. Well, it's so-called, but it is an opium epidemic, opioid crisis. Yesterday, there was an article, this from, I think, the New York Times, 76 billion opioid pills. Newly released federal data unmasks the epidemic. 76 billion with a B, opioid pills that have saturated the American public from just 2000. This is from 2006 to 2012. This is the most recent data that we have on the dispensation of opioid pills. These are prescription. This is not including the non-prescription stuff or the illegal stuff. This is by prescription. And the whole phenomena of opioid distribution is something that began with a guy named Wexler, his name was Wexler. His name was Sackler. I got to find out his name. But anyway, he was the guy who started the OxyContin craze. He was the head of a drug company that discovered that they could tweak the simple little opioid molecule or opioid pill and create something called OxyContin, which is an extremely powerful so-called sustained release form of opium. And that's really when this whole crisis kind of began. There was always the heroin epidemic, I suppose. The prescription opioid crisis really began with OxyContin in the 1990s. And the guy who came up with the advertising and marketing of this stuff made it into what's called the Medical Marketing Hall of Fame. There's actually a Medical Marketing Hall of Fame. I talked about that before. The Medical Marketing Hall of Fame is where great medical campaigns get memorialized as being so famous they enter into, or so important, or so prominent that they enter into the into what's called a Hall of Fame. And the guy who came up with the OxyContin, with the drug OxyContin, owned the company that came up with it. Got to figure out, it's Sackler or Sacker, I forgot his name. He made it into the Medical Hall of Fame, Medical Marketing Hall of Fame for OxyContin, for his ability to market this drug. And that's really when the whole thing kind of, in the late 1990s, middle to late 1990s, became such a big deal. The prescription opioid epidemic. Today, it is responsible for the deaths of 130 people a day. That actually includes illegal opioids as well. Legal drug opioids have killed over 400,000 people. Prescription opioids have killed over 400,000 people since the late 1990s. 3 million Americans are addicted to opioids. That's 1%, nearly 1% of the American population is addicted to opioids. And while prescription opioids and illegal opioids, drugs basically, get all the press, opioids are actually a class of molecules, a class of chemicals that are found everywhere in nature. And they're found in the human nervous system. They're pain medicines in the human nervous system. I shouldn't say medicines. They're pain molecules in the human nervous system. There are natural pain relievers, and they're very, very important. They make you feel good. They make you feel good when you're out of pain. It's really why we do things, is to get our natural to increase our natural opioids. It's why we're addicted to anything. It's really a mechanism for getting your actual opioids. The two main chemicals in the brain that are responsible for pretty much everything we do are called dopamine and endorphins. Endorphins are kind of a class of molecules, and these two hormones, or these two chemicals, are responsible for us doing everything we do, from opening a door to writing a letter to getting a job to finding a mate. Everything we do, to eating food. That's really a big part of our behaviors that help us leverage and access dopamine and endorphins. In fact, the food industry is really, from a neurochemical standpoint, if you take into account how drugs work, or how many drugs work, and how behaviors work, the food industry is really one of the most powerful drugs there is, or produce one of the most powerful drugs we ever interact with. The foods we eat today are more like drugs, or much of the foods we eat today are more like drugs than they are like foods, because they're molecules that create changes in the body's neurology, changes in the body's neurochemistry that are fundamental to the brain, but not necessarily fundamental to the body. That's the big problem with foods. They activate the brain without affecting the body. In fact, to the body, they're poison. Many of the chemicals in the body, many of the chemicals in food, the foods we eat, the power bars and the cereals, and the processed food, basically, if it comes in a box or a package, are more like drugs. They work like drugs. They make us eat them like drugs. Potato chips make us eat them like drugs. The people who make potato chips put what is essentially a drug, at least from a scientific and a mechanistic perspective, not a legal perspective. It's not a drug, but it's essentially the same thing. And people who study drugs also study foods. And that is, they study processed foods. They study how to make processed foods. There's a place in Philadelphia called the Monell Institute, and the Monell Institute is funded by the drug companies and the food companies. How interesting is that? The food we eat are more akin to drugs. So when we talk about drugs and we talk about drug addiction, processed food is one of the biggest sources of drug addiction, and it's one of the sneakiest and insidious, because we don't think of it and we're not told that they're like drugs. That's why you can only eat just one. We get addicted to these things. We get addicted to them like we get addicted to opioids. The same way, from the brain. And if you're eating from the brain and not from the digestive system, you're abusing food, and it's a good chance you're addicted. Anyway, the drugs that we call opioids, the morphines and the heroines and the Dilaudids and the Demerols and the Vicodins and the hydrocodones and the OxyContins, these are all derived from the opium that is secreted from the poppy plant. And for whatever reason, as it turns out, there are molecules that are secreted in the poppy in abundance, like rubbery kind of molecules. It's called latex. It's a type of latex, which is just kind of a interesting substance. Latex is really an interesting substance on its own. Anyway, the poppy plant secretes this rubbery latex stuff that is analogous to chemicals that are in our brain. And that is a good thing because it means we can use the stuff, and it's a bad thing because it means we get addicted to the stuff. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll continue when we come back from our break. You're listening to The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back after this. Okay, we We are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben, and we have lots of lines open. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have questions about the longevity products, longevity business, our Truth Skin Health products, which are available at truthtreatments.com. Also want to let you know that truthnourishment.com is up and running. I've got some good nutritional supplements up there, and I'm always looking for more. If you know anybody who's selling nutritional supplements or wants to market nutritional supplements, I can stick them on my website if I like them. I'm looking for products that I like that are hard to find. If you go to truthnourishment.com, you'll find various products, including some interesting enzyme products that I like from my buddy Troy Opperly, who has a company called Enzymatic Research. I really like his stuff. Truthnourishment.com, and I'm going to add various products on there hopefully as the months go by. Truthnourishment.com. Also got some hemp products there and some protein products. A lot of the products that were on the old Brightside Health, and I'm still working on that site. A lot of the products that were on Brightside Health are up at truthnourishment.com. Also got blog posts. I'm just going to make that an all-around health site. And I think it's going to be linked. I'm talking to my web guy about linking that to pharmacistben.com, which is my blog. But you might want to check out truthnourishment.com. We're constantly updating it. We've updated pharmacistben.com as well. And, of course, Truth Treatment products, our Truth Skin Health products, are available at truthtreatments.com. I've been in the skin business, many of you know, for a long time. I can't even believe it when I think about it. I started making skin health products in 1983. That is a long time ago, 36 years ago, working for the Blistex Corporation. And then I made many thousands of skincare products and sold many millions of dollars in skincare products in my formulations. To this day, there are companies selling my formulations, millions of dollars of my formulations. And I've learned a lot about the skin. Skin is an amazing, amazing organ that's completely misunderstood. Totally misunderstood. We don't know how to take care of our skin. Flat out. If you're like most people, you just don't know how to take care of your skin. Smearing stuff on your skin, which is the way we take care of our skin, and the way we've taken care of our skin since Helena Rubinstein in the late 1800s, and even before that, and going back to the days of the Sumerians and the ancient Egyptians, people would just smear stuff on their skin without thinking what the skin was, without thinking how to access the stuff in the skin that did the work, i.e. the cells. We didn't even really know about cells in general until the 19th century. And skin cells and how the skin works, we really didn't even understand that until the late 20th century. From a scientific perspective, we didn't really understand all the mechanisms in the skin until 40 years ago, 30 or 40 years ago. One of my jobs working for Blistex was to do research. And I remember going to the library to do research on various ingredients and being shocked at how little there was that was out there. I didn't discover the stuff I learned about the skin, I discovered on my own from working in my compounding pharmacy. I had a wound healing pharmacy. In fact, all my Truth Treatment products, probably said this before, were all developed as wound products. The concepts were developed as a wound healing concept. And what I found out was when you heal the skin, it comes back more beautiful. That's what Truth Treatments are about. They're about healing the skin so it can be beautiful. Healing the skin in the same way you heal the body when you take a supplement or if you're taking a drug like an antibiotic or a medicine. If you take a medicine, you take it carefully. If you use skincare products, you want to use them carefully. If you take a medicine, it's powerful and potent. If you use a skincare product, you want it to be powerful and potent. If you have a medicine, you use very small amounts because every dose is concentrated. That's how skincare should be. Every dose should be concentrated. That's what Truth Treatments are about. That's why I say pharmacist formulated, prescription strength without the prescription. Prescription strength without the prescription. Truthtreatments.com. Truthtreatments.com. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number on the bright side. We are talking about this opioid crisis, so-called opioid crisis that is out there that you hear about all the time. Big article in the New York Times yesterday about the opioid crisis. It's all over the news now for a good reason. 130 people a day die from opioids. And it's all based on the fact that there's something that's made in the poppy that's also made in your brain. The same chemical. For whatever reason, it turns out that this opioid latex that is secreted out of the poppy plant has analogs in the human brain, and very fundamental, powerful analogs that are so powerful that almost all human behavior is linked to them. The endorphins, end meaning inside, orph meaning dreamlike. Orphines, morphine is where technically the first of the drugs that came from the opiates was named after Morpheus, the god of dreams. And to this day, ORPH in biochemistry refers to opioid-like compounds. So whenever you hear ORF in a drug, you know you're dealing with some kind of opioid compound, ORPH. This is just an amazing idea that plants make molecules that are similar to the molecules humans make. There's an overlap between plant molecules and animal and human molecules. And this phenomena, this overlap between plant molecules and human molecules, has led to the development of a lot of important medications, estrogen compounds, anti-cancer compounds, and pain pills. And as it turns out, the ability of plant molecules to interact with the human body is a phenomena that's led to the development of many of the 30,000 prescription drugs that are dispensed 4 billion times a year. 4 billion prescriptions a year. That's an astounding number of prescriptions. 30,000 drugs. How could there possibly be a need for 30,000 drugs? And you're hearing it now. You're hearing the clarion call for cheap drugs, free drugs, capping the cost of prescription drugs is all over politics. That is one of the sneakiest little mind games that the drug companies are playing. The government and the drug companies are playing. They make you think you need the drugs and they have to be cheaper. You don't need the drugs for the most part. For the most part, the drugs we take are not necessary. Occasionally, there are emergencies. I understand you have a hypertensive crisis. Your blood pressure is super high. You need to drop it immediately. You're in pain. You have severe pain, or you need an antibiotic, and there's anesthesia. And there's drugs. There's a need for prescription medication. Absolutely. I'm not Pollyannish about it. But you can't tell me we need 30,000 of these things, prescription drugs. 30,000 brand-name prescription drugs. 4 billion prescriptions a year. Ungodly profits. What goes to the end user for $10,000, or maybe you could say, think about it. A Viagra pill is about $50 a pill. There are pills out there that are $50 a pill. You got 100 pills. That's what the end user pays. You got 100 pills in a bottle. Do the math on that. $50 a pill times 100 pills, right? So that's $5,000 for a bottle of Viagra, we'll say. 100 Viagras, $5,000. A penny goes into it. A penny of chemistry. Turn a penny into $5,000. That's like the most profit-intense business on the planet. And these ungodly profits for these drugs, which are for these drug companies, which are basically big chemical companies that have been around since organic chemistry was born. Organic chemistry was born in the early 19th century, about 1820. That's when organic chemistry was born. And the idea of organic chemistry is really kind of interesting. Until organic chemistry was born in 1820, a guy named Friedrich Wohlers, a German guy, invented the first or synthesized the first organic compound. It was thought that only God could make organic compounds. This is known as vitalism. Vitalism was the going theory that said that there was a vital force that made life chemicals. And the only kind of chemistry that humans could work on was rock chemistry, which had been around for a really long time. But life chemistry, which they called organic chemistry, could only be accomplished by life, by vital forces, until 1820. That's when it all began. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. Okay, we are back on the bright side, and we have lots of lines open. 844-236-6010. Hang tight if you're on hold, and we will get your calls in just a moment. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase longevity products, call 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470, or go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can order longevity products right off the website. You can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team off the website for a one-time $30 fee. You can be in business for yourself. Call 866-735-2470 for more info, or click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. All right, we'll get to your calls here momentarily. Have you guys heard about this Impossible Burger? Impossible Burger is basically a plant burger that has some blood in it. has heme in it, has stuff in it that makes it seem like you're eating a real hamburger. They figured out what the stuff is in a real hamburger that makes it taste hamburgery or beefy, and they stuck it in the Impossible Burger, which is basically a plant burger. Here's the thing about these plant burgers. They're not good for you. They're processed food, the quintessential processed foods. Reading from the Huffington Post here. Are Beyond Meat and Impossible Burgers better for you? Nutritionists weigh in. Some nutritionists say, well, it's all plant, and so it's good for you. I say, if it's got a bunch of ingredients on it, it isn't good for you. You don't want food that has a bunch of ingredients. Impossible Burgers have 21 ingredients in them. Beyond Burgers have 18 ingredients in them. It's a hamburger with 20 ingredients. That's not a good thing. Not to mention, you probably wouldn't like the taste of your veggie burger or your Impossible Burger if you didn't have a lot of mayonnaise and ketchup and mustard and vegetables and bread. That's what makes it taste good, is a combination of all those things, the crunchiness and all of the textural qualities, which, by the way, these scientists study. They know exactly how to make your foods taste delicious from an endorphin perspective, a happy brain perspective. These chemicals make your brain go, yippee, like you just won the lottery. They're reward chemicals. Beyond and Impossible Burgers and plant burgers and veggie burgers are not health foods. Hamburgers are not that great, probably. You don't know what's in a hamburger, but they're probably better than your Beyond Burger food and your Impossible Beef food. You don't want your hamburgers and your beef to have ingredients on them. The only ingredient should be meat. If you're eating Impossible Burgers or veggie burgers because you think they're healthy, you're wrong. They're not healthy. They're processed foods, and they're synthetic complexes of chemicals that are all blended. They're all blended together to make you think you're eating a hamburger when you're not. Stay away. All right. Let's do one more, and then we'll get your calls here. 844-236-6010 from the journal Respiratory Research. The effects of N-acetylcysteine on bronchiectasis. Bronchiectasis is a pulmonary condition, chronic lung disease. It's a permanent dilation of the bronchi in the lungs, little tubules in the lungs that convert or that blend oxygen with blood cells. They're called your bronchi, and these things are opening and closing. And when you have this condition, they're constantly open. And this can create all kinds of respiratory health issues, and it turns out that N-acetylcysteine can help. N-acetylcysteine is used to thin mucus, and it is an incredibly valuable nutrient. It's basically cysteine, the amino acid cysteine, which you get in meat. That's another reason why you want to be eating real meat rather than garden burgers or Boca burgers or Morningstar Farms veggie burgers or Impossible Burgers. Now, there is cysteine in the soy and in the pea and in the rice proteins that are found in these burgers, but not like in eggs and meat. Eggs and meat are your best sources of cysteine, your animal foods. Anyway, N-acetylcysteine is one of my all-time favorite supplements. N-acetylcysteine has been used to treat obsessive compulsive disorder. It's been used to treat lung problems. It's actually a drug called Mucomyst, which is a prescription drug that cystic fibrosis patients will use. I think you should take N-acetylcysteine daily. It's a great liver detox. It's used in emergency rooms. I've talked about it many, many times. It's one of those non-essential supplements that you can get a lot of benefit from, along with digestive enzymes and probiotics. Also non-essential supplements that I recommend that people take. I take them every day personally. Let me do one more here. I know I said I'll get your calls here in a sec, but let me do one more. This is interesting. Greater cardiovascular fitness in women leads to lower dementia risk later. This is from the journal Neurology. A study that was done looking at 200 Swedish women aged 38 to 60 determined that those women who were categorized as high fitness were diagnosed with dementia 11 years later than those who had low or medium fitness. In other words, greater cardiovascular risk caused patients with dementia risks to get their dementia later on. This makes perfect sense. When I say greater cardiovascular fitness, this makes perfect sense. A large part of the brain deterioration that occurs with dementia, and by the way, that's what dementia is, brain deterioration. That's what Parkinson's is, brain deterioration. Brain deterioration should be is nothing special. It happens to be the brain, so obviously it's going to have a huge impact, but it's the same as joint deterioration. It's the same phenomenon. The brain deteriorates when the blood becomes sludgy or when there's problems with the circulatory system. This is the cause of everything. This is why there's never going to be a cure for Alzheimer's. Never going to be a cure for dementia. These are blood conditions caused by toxicity in the blood. And of course, if you have greater cardiovascular fitness, you're going to have a healthier brain. You get better circulation. The heart works better. People after they have strokes, after they have open heart surgery, are more prone towards losing cognitive abilities. After you have triple bypass or heart transplant or any kind of cardiovascular surgery, you get less flow to the brain. Happens almost to everybody. Some kind of brain effect. So it makes perfect sense that if you have improved cardiovascular fitness and you're prone to dementia, you're going to have your dementia later, or you may not even have it at all. What's that saying? It's saying work on the blood. You don't work on the brain, and you're not going to have a drug for Alzheimer's disease. You work on the heart and the blood and the circulatory system. And you know what, folks? That's basically for all diseases. Work on the heart and the circulatory system. Work on the blood. All disease is cell disease. All cell disease is preceded by dirty blood. That means all disease has the originating component of all disease is dirty blood. Dirty blood. And how does the blood become dirty? For most people, through the digestive system. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number on the bright side. Good morning, Bob in Littleton, Colorado.
Hello,
what's up, Bob?
Welcome back.
Thank you so much. Good to talk to you, and I always appreciate your support, Bob. Thank you so much. Am I going to see you this Saturday?
Yes. Didn't know if you knew about it. I was going to mention that.
I'm going to be speaking there with my good friend, Dr. James Rouse. Dr. Wallach will be there. Tom Chenault will be there. Myself, I probably get a half hour in to talk about a couple of things. And so if you're in the Colorado area, I don't know where it is, though, Bob. Do you?
Yes. 2000 Pike Road, the Journey Church. I think
the Journey Church, 2000 Pike Road in Longmont, Colorado, correct?
Unit A, yep, Longmont.
Unit A. Okay, hopefully if you're in Colorado, you make it out there. Myself, my good friend, Dr. James Rouse, who I'm going to get on the radio program here. I'll talk to him on Saturday about getting on the program. He's just a brilliant naturopath.
Yeah, I got a question for you when you come back.
Okay, yeah, we'll take a break. We'll come back. 844-236-6010 is our number. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back after this. Okay, we're back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number if you're in the Longmont area, the Colorado area, the Denver area this Saturday. Longmont Journey Church, myself, Dr. James Rouse, and Dr. Wallach are going to be doing a talk. I'll probably get about half hour. It's basically a Dr. Wallach talk. And also Dr. James Rouse, who is a local celebrity here in the Denver area. He's a naturopath and an author and a media personality and just a great guy, actually. And he's now part of the longevity team. I've known him for 20 years or so. Really, just a good guy. We're going to have him on. We'll definitely have him on the program. So if you're in the Colorado area, hope to see you at the Longmont Journey Church, 2000 Pike Road, Unit A in Longmont, Colorado. Did I say that right, Bob?
Yes.
And is it really at 3:30 it starts?
Doors open at 3:30.
Okay. Nobody told me any of this stuff.
It's just probably 4 to 6.
Okay. All right. So
depends on how long you talk.
Nah, it's not me. I'm not even going to get, I'll probably get 20 minutes, or if I'm lucky, I'll get 20 minutes. I do have stuff to say, so hopefully I'll get some time. Anyway, what's going on, Bob? How can I help you?
I have a client with bioduct cancer. What would you recommend?
Yeah.
Bioduct cancer.
No, the bile duct, B-I-L-E, bile duct.
Oh,
the bile duct is part of the gallbladder. It's actually a little duct that routes bile from the liver where it's made into the gallbladder where it's stored. It is a site of cancer. The gallbladder is also a site of cancer. Look, cancer's cancer. And that's one time. How far along is the guy?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're dealing with cancer, you got
I think she's newly diagnosed.
You don't want to mess around with it. I probably do whatever needs to be done. On the other hand, cancers remit. They come and go. So it kind of depends on how far along she is. But the fact that cancers come and go is something nobody ever tells us. Cancers come and go on their own. There was a great New York Times article. You can Google this. Cancer, I forgot what it's called. Cancer disappears on its own, but nobody knows how. Just Google New York Times. It came out in 2010 or 2009. I'll never forget this article. I've got it stored somewhere. Of course, everything's stored on the internet. And it says cancer tells you the cancer comes and goes. And then people have known that. We just don't get told that. The key to treating cancer, in my opinion, is to treat the entire body from a health perspective. You don't treat the cancer, you treat health. And we don't cure cancer, we inspire health, or we help the body develop health. You want to get healthy. That's the key. Cancer doesn't exist in a healthy body. No matter what anybody tells you, cancer is a sign that the body's not healthy, and it's usually long term. It's usually something that it takes a long time to develop. It's nothing more than cellular duress. In fact, that's the key right there, what I just said. Cell duress. Nobody has bile duct cancer, Bob. They call it bile duct cancer, but what they really mean is bile duct cell cancer. The cells of the bile duct, which are, for most of us, are going to be subject to a lot of abuse because bile is a detoxifying fluid. And when toxins build up, when the bile can't get rid of the toxins that it's trying to drain out, the toxins build up in the bile. And the bile becomes thick and sludgy. And this can, over the long term, affect the cells that contact the sludgy bile, such as bile duct cells, such as the gallbladder. The gallbladder itself is a site of cancer. So cancer is the end result of everything. Hang on, let me just say this one last thing. Cancer is the end result of everything else we're talking about here. Dirty blood. Clean the blood. Get healthy. That's the key. Now, how far along she is, I don't know. It may be that she needs to have something surgical done. I can't tell you the answer to that. But for everybody who wants to address their cancer by taking care of their health, that's how you do it. You clean the blood. For everybody that wants to prevent themselves from getting cancer in the first place, clean the blood. Go ahead, Bob. I'm sorry.
Is this also ultimately a liver problem?
Probably. It's a bile problem. Bile's made in the liver. Right. And there's probably an aspect of liver toxicity. I can't say for sure, but yeah, the liver is a detoxifying organ. Of course, it's going to get toxic, And fatty liver, it affects a lot. I'd say there's probably 80 million Americans or more that have fatty liver disease. Maybe even 100 million Americans have some degree of fatty liver disease. Fatty liver means the cells of the liver aren't doing their work, and fat's starting to accumulate. And that's where it could very well begin at the level of the liver. That's not an unlikely possibility. All right, Bob, I wish I could give you better news. To clean the blood for all cancer. And you know what else for cancer when I talk about cleaning the blood, or all disease really? EDTA. That is IV, intravenous EDTA at a naturopath or somebody who's skilled at doing it. It's called chelation therapy, and I highly recommend it for folks who are dealing with cancer or any chronic disease or who just want to age more slowly. Thank you, Bob. Hope you have a beautiful day. Don't forget IV vitamin C. Sorry, Bob. I didn't mean to hang up on you there. All right, Barry in New Orleans. What's going on, my friend? We wouldn't have a bright side. We wouldn't be anywhere near as interesting without you on the bright side. Thank you, Barry.
Oh, well, thank you. You're so kind. Listen, I want to ask you first about carbon-60 and also what you were saying about the blood. If I can get both these questions in.
I'm sorry, say that again about the blood?
Basically, I want to ask you, I think I know the answer, but I just want to be sure. How does basically the blood get dirty?
Okay, we'll talk about dirty blood, and then we'll talk about carbon-60 or fullerenes. Fullerenes is the generic name for carbon-60. I was fascinated with fullerenes in pharmacy school. I first heard about it in pharmacy school. Fullerenes are like the most incredibly beautiful molecule. They're called buckyballs, fullerenes, but technically they're C60, C for carbon, 60 for 60 carbons. A fullerene is a molecule that's got 60 carbons, 60 atoms. Most molecules have like 5 atoms, 10 atoms, 20 atoms, even the really complex ones have 30 or 40. C60's got 60 atoms, and they're all shaped, when they put together, they're shaped like a ball in this beautiful symmetric sphere called a buckyball, because the guy who first discovered them was named Buckminster Fuller. He was a mathematician and a chemist and a philosopher, brilliant guy. And so they call them buckyballs, also known as fullerenes. Buckminster Fuller was his name. But technically carbon-60. And carbon-60 has some really remarkable antioxidant properties, anti-aging properties. It's a delivery system. I was using it in my True Skin Health products, fullerenes, but nobody knew what they were, and they're real expensive, so I stopped using them. But there's some really interesting benefits that you can get from them. From my perspective, as a transdermal ingredient or as a penetration enhancer for drugs, topical medications, but also on their own as an anti-aging and antioxidant ingredient, it's now getting a lot of play. So they're being sold. Now you can buy C60 drops. They're somewhat expensive. I personally, I've taken them for months. I didn't notice any spectacular benefits, so I'm not going to vouch for whether or not they're good for you. The chemistry's good. But as far as nutrients go, there's a lot more important things that you need that most of us are deficient in. Worrying about fullerenes for most of us is like worrying about a fly buzzing around your head when you have an elephant on your roof. You know, nutritional deficiencies, that's an elephant on your roof. B vitamin deficiencies, electrolyte deficiencies, fatty vitamin deficiencies, fat malabsorption issues, mineral deficiencies. Those are like the elephant on the roof. Fullerenes are like a mosquito buzzing around your head. Yeah, you may get a little benefit, but if you got an elephant on your roof, that's your big problem. So, you know, they're not going to hurt you. There's no toxicity or anything, but there's more important. Most people have bigger fish to fry. Blood becomes dirty at the level of the digestive system. This is the interface between the blood and the world. The blood is contained in a chamber. It's isolated from the world except for the digestive system. Now, the skin also is a route into the blood, but it's a much more robust barrier than the digestive system. Because of course the digestive system stuff has to get into the blood because we got to get nourished. So nature has protected the interface between the digestive system and the blood with a whole bunch of safety mechanisms so that only the right things are supposed to get into the blood. However, because of sickness and because of disease and because of malnourishment, because of weakness and frailty, because of wrong foods, for most of us, this system of controlling what gets into the blood breaks down very early in life, and things start to leak into the blood. It's called leaky gut. And most people have it, and almost everybody, I would say probably everybody who's dealing with a chronic degenerative disease has it, and this leaky gut is how the blood becomes toxic for most people, how it becomes sludgy. When the blood becomes toxic, when things accumulate in the blood and immune cells start to react in the blood and you've got immune reactions in the blood, that's where you start to get clogs and clots. And that's what I mean when I say sticky blood. It's the clogs and the clots and the immune reaction and the immune cells and the stuff that's leaking in through the digestive system through foods, which is all to say that you deal with dirty blood first and foremost by working at the level of the intestine. When I say gut, I mean the intestine. And so much more to talk about that, Barry. It's a huge, huge subject, but suffice it to say you don't need to be tested for leaky gut. If you're sick, you got to work on the gut. And that's why I always talk about the digestive system. Not because I'm a food guy. I'm not a food guy. I'm a chemist. I'm a health guy. Not a food guy. I eat crappy too. But I'm saying that if you're sick, this represents a major point of control, a major leverage point. Barry, thanks for your call. Appreciate it. We're just flat out of time. Thank you for listening to The Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.